When last did you enjoy a very delicious plate of egusi stew for rice, pasta, yam or plantains? In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this delicious recipe. Hello everyone and welcome back to Queenvarieties channel, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel to get instant notifications whenever I upload new videos. Thank you. I am going to start this recipe by first pouring in some of the oil I used in frying my fish for some of that flavor from the fried fish. Now that the oil is completely heated, I'm going to add the combination of scotch bonnet pepper, garlic and ginger into the hot oil. I will stir it for a few seconds until it begins to release that flavor into the oil. I'm also going to toss in some spicy green pepper for that unique flavor that comes with it. And then guys, I will stir it in for about 2 minutes. After 2 minutes guys, I'm going to toss in some nutmeg inside the hot oil. Oh yes guys, at this moment the aroma is zooming. Guys, if you have been following my recipes, you notice I love eating so much quantity of onion. So in this recipe, I'm tossing in 2 combinations of onion flavor into the hot oil. Feel free to use either of them, but I want that unique taste that also comes from both flavor of the onions. That's why I'm using both. So now I will stir it and then allow this to cook down. Hope you can see how beautiful the colors are looking right now in the pot. If you don't like the fish oil I used at the beginning, you can skip it and use ordinary vegetable oil. Some people like to use palm oil for this recipe, although personally I don't advise it, but if you prefer to use palm oil for this recipe, then it's also acceptable. But for this special egusi sauce or egusi stew, I recommend you use vegetable oil because we are going to make it exactly the same way we make a basic stew recipe. So guys, I will cover my pot for only 2 minutes for the onions to release its 2 minutes later guys. At this stage, the onions is completely translucent. So this is the consistency that I'm looking for guys. You can notice it has turned super pale in nature. That means all the flavors have infused itself into the oil. Over to the next step guys. Here I have some stockfish fillets. I hope you guys can see it clearly. I have some African stockfish fillets, just the same thing with the normal basic stockfish. So I'm going to toss it into the pot. If you have your dry fish, crayfish, this is the right moment to toss it into the pot guys. This doesn't take so much time to cook. That is why I'm putting it early enough so that it will begin to get soft as much as possible. Also its flavor into the hot oil. You guys know that stockfish has a very unique aroma, or that unique taste that comes along with it. So adding it early in this recipe makes it, you know, intense in the recipe guys. I have my stockfish cooking down there. I'm just gonna toss in some few bay leaves into the pot and then begin to assemble some of my spices. So guys, I'm going to mix it appropriately for it to get combined. Wow, the aroma here guys is so intense. You really need to be here right now to perceive the aroma in this kitchen. It's so golden guys. This has been frying for about 2 to 3 minutes, so I'm just going to toss in some 2 cubes. You can use any cube of your choice, so I'm using these 2 cubes. I'm going to pour in my blended mixture of red bell peppers. Here I have some cooked tomatoes which I have already cooked down for 20 minutes to eliminate that sour flavor from it. So I'm just going to pour it right now into my pot. To mix my pot for everything to combine appropriately before we go to the next step. have completely mixed this mixture appropriately, the next step is to cover the pot appropriately and allow this mixture to cook down for about 15 good minutes. I'll cover my pot and then reduce my heat at the moment to medium. Guys, it's exactly 10 to 15 minutes later, so this is the appropriate time to check the pot. Wow, the pot is so beautiful. Can you guys see? Yes, I have been frying and stirring the pot every 2 minutes. As you guys can see, the sauce is perfectly fried because you notice the oil circulating at the surface of the sauce. Remember guys, I previously cooked that tomato for about 20 minutes just to make sure that the sour flavor will be eliminated. Toss in the chief ingredients into the pot, which is the egusi. I'm going to stir it and stir it until everything has combined appropriately. And at this stage guys, I'm going to take down my heat to the very lowest because as you guys know, egusi tends to burn very fast. I'm not going to add any water to this right now. I'm just going to keep tossing this egusi inside the sauce until it has cooked for about 5 to 7 minutes before I add any quantity of water inside it. You guys can see how beautiful it's looking guys. You see, it is so beautiful. Keep tossing the egusi inside the pot for at least 5 to 7 minutes. I'm going to turn my heat back to medium and then keep doing this. I've been tossing this egusi inside the pot and I promise you guys, the egusi has really sucked in all the flavors in the sauce we prepared earlier on. So this is the time we have to now pour in some water into the pot to enable the egusi to cook properly. Guys, this step is very necessary because if you don't cook your egusi appropriately, you notice that you will develop a runny stomach. So right now guys, what I'm going to do is to pour in some boiled hot water inside this recipe. Please guys, make sure you use hot water for this recipe. Don't pour in cold water. At this stage my surface is going to get messed up, but I'm going to cover my pot and allow this egusi to steam appropriately. So I still need to add some more water. It all depends on the consistency you're going for. I don't want the recipe too thick nor too light, so I just have to keep it at the medium stage because I'm going to use this to eat both rice, yam and plantain. So I'm going to cook it for extra 10 to 15 minutes just to make sure that this egusi is properly cooked. I still need to add some water guys, but instead I will prefer to pour in my stock from my beef. If you don't know how to cook beef, I have a video on beef, so kindly click the eye icon that will pop up on this screen right now and watch it guys. Yes, I think this consistency at the moment is perfect. I'm going to leave my pot on medium heat guys, just to make sure that this pot cooks appropriately. Make sure that you stir this pot as often as possible because if you don't, the egusi is going to get burnt. So I'm going to cover the pot and allow it to cook for 15 good minutes. Guys, we have come to the final stage of today's recipe. So far I have been cooking this recipe for about 15 good minutes. At this stage you can notice that the oil has surfaced at the surface of this egusi. This is a perfect indication that this egusi has been properly steamed. So now I'm going to stir the pot. Guys, at this stage I am very much comfortable with this consistency, but if you think it's too thick for you, you can still go ahead and then add in some little drops of hot water inside the recipe. What I'm doing right now is to introduce my cooked beef, which I have already cooked earlier on, inside this recipe. You can as well use your chicken if you have chicken available guys. Remember, I haven't added any drop of salt since we started cooking this recipe guys. That is because I cooked my beef outside the camera. So now I'm going to toss in some drops of salt. As I told you, I was going to use white rice to eat this recipe. You can also use yam, boiled yam, or plantains, potatoes, anything, and I promise you this recipe is incredibly delicious. You wouldn't even believe that this is egusi stew. If you think you want to add some vegetables into this, you can feel free to toss in any vegetable of your choice. Join me guys as we taste for salt. Jesus, this is more than delicious, guys. After stirring my pot appropriately, what I'm going to do now is to cover this pot once again for about 5 good minutes. 5 minutes later, guys, and yes, we have finally come to the end of today's recipe. At this stage, guys, you can perfectly see that the oil has surfaced around this recipe. This is a perfect indication, guys, that this recipe is perfectly ready. Yes, and you can see how beautiful, guys, how beautiful this recipe is looking. Just imagine how it's going to taste with white rice, boiled white yam, and plantain, or anything you want to try it with. It's absolutely out of the moon, guys. Yes, it's absolutely delicious. Remember, at the early stage when I was making this recipe, I told you I had fried my fish. Yes, that is what I am going to toss into this sauce. Having your fried fish in this stew is something you don't want me to explain to you how delicious it's going to taste. I'm telling you guys, it takes this recipe to another level altogether. Finally, guys, we have come to the end of today's recipe. So all you have to do right now is to remove your pot from heat and then serve it with white boiled rice, pasta, yam, or plantains, or anything you want to serve it with. On the screen you can see I served mine with white boiled rice, and guys, this recipe was absolutely out of the moon. Thank you so much for joining me in today's episode, and I really hope you guys have enjoyed today's recipe. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel to get instant notifications whenever I upload new videos.